Yes, like Exposition Television has given us a very conspicuous set of lotto numbers and mentioned the lost baby. A lost
Yes.
baby on TV. It's been 3 days. And it's like, oh yeah, this just in, stolen baby. And I'm like, Amber Alerts, you can complain about them on your phone now, but like, would you rather wake up at 4 a.m. for an Amber Alert or just wait 3 days for the lost baby alert on TV? Hello and welcome to Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A series that remembers Blockbuster, but not always fondly. How about that? I think that's a good way to talk about it. I think
We acknowledge Blockbuster, Scott. We're aware of its legacy.
Anyway, my name is Scott.
And I'm Justin.
All right. This special episode, is brought to you by the Kyoto Sweets Box from Cratejoy. It is a monthly crate of snacks curated by people actually in Kyoto. Every box will contain 20 items, including one of which is a guidebook that will explain the items in it. It is a mix of a couple of teas, some actual local snacks, artisanal handmade stuff, but also packaged junk from the convenience store that you would really want. Like the things that make you jealous about, the TikToks and the Instagram reels, where it's like, look, it's prawn-flavored Pringles and this weird Kit Kat and whatever Japan thinks a caramel corn Cheeto is. I'm seeing this image in the previews. I don't know what that is, but I do kind of want to try it. Anyway, the link is in the description. You can sign up for just 1 month. You can gift it to someone. You can sign up for a full year and get a big old pile of stuff. Either way, I recommend you do it. Or you can back us on Coffee if you'd rather just hand me $5 directly if you appreciated this episode. That's how that works.
Coworker, just to jump into the Kit Kat thing. Coworker went to Japan recently, brought back for the team apple pie flavored Kit Kats, and I had been sick the week that she came back, so I was the only one who still had one on my desk. So I ate it, and oh my god, I am so glad I came in a week after everyone else, or I would have just walked around the office stealing everyone else's. They were so good. Anyway,
that they really know what they're doing, and it's funny that we can get all these Oreos in America and no interest in Kit Kats. 38 kinds of Oreos, 2 kinds of Kit Kats. I don't get it.
I presume there's international agreements between the junk food companies. But what are we talking about today, Scott?
So we are going to be reviewing for our holiday special, Tokyo Godfathers from 2003, a theatrical feature directed by Satoshi Kon, best known for, big old piles of mostly theatrical work. Tokyo Godfathers, Paprika, Jinro, Millennium Actress, Magnetic Rose, Layout on Patlabor, Perfect Blue. Again, died young. Paranoia Agent, his only TV work, his only TV direction. He did some TV work back in the day. This was written by his co-writer, Keiko Nobumoto, mostly known for her TV work. Also died young, but known for Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Rain, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, Carolyn Tuesday, Macross Plus. A lot of crossover with Watanabe, if you've noticed that. Season 2 is coming. We'll talk about him. Animation direction by Kenichi Konishi, another longtime collaborator of Kon's. Again, also mostly known for theatrical work, because it's very hard to cross over to TV work when you're in theatrical anime, because you're just punching a clock for 3 years on Ghost in the Shell 2. You don't have time to storyboard for a TV show. Konishi, Ghost in the Shell 2, Ghost in the Shell 1, the Digimon movies, Millennium Actress, Paprika, Perfect Blue. along with some Ghibli work, Pompoko, When Marnie Was Here, Whisper of the Heart. Also animation direction by Masashi Ando. Again, another Kon collaborator. Ghost in the Shell, Only Yesterday, Paranoia Agent, Pompoko, Pocoroso, Mononoke. Again, theatrical anime guy. He even did keys on The Boy and the Heron. And last animation director is Toshiyuki Inoue, known for, again, a lot of theatrical stuff, but a little more broad in this case. Did Blood the Last Vampire, a couple of Ava movies, Ghost in the Shell, Jinro the Wolf Brigade, MD Geist 2, MD Geist 2, Death Force, Macross 7, Magnetic Rose, the opening to Metabots. Metabots is a show where everyone who worked on it turned out to be a superstar right afterwards, basically. Wolf Children, Saber Marionette J, Shiro Bako, which is ironic, but I guess someone has to work on the anime about anime. And also Lotus War. Tokyo Godfathers was released in 2003. Finally got a dub in 2019. I watched the dub for this time around. And I should pause and say, content warnings, unhousedness, homophobia, transphobia, alcohol abuse, self-harm, suicide, child abandonment, and any other ones? Any other ones? Any big ones?
That seems pretty much like you covered the major ones.
Oh, violence. This is just violence in general.
What was it rated? Was it released in any markets which required a rating?
I
don't know.
So they did, when it came out originally, they did push it for an Academy Award, which means it would have had to go through the MPAA. PG-13. PG-13 for mild sex and nudity, moderate gore, moderate profanity, moderate alcohol and drugs and smoking, and mild frightening or intense scenes. The nudity is for breastfeeding, which is...
That's a controversial rating.
Yeah. I think the nipple is visible, and that's probably what pushed it.
Spoiler, a child is breastfed in this movie.
Yeah.
Children are breastfed in this movie.
The human breast is used for its biological purpose. Anyway, so this movie starts off Christmas Eve in, I guess, 2003-ish, early 2000s, and at a Christmas pageant in Tokyo, which is odd. There are plenty of people who can explain religion in Japan much better than me, but it's worth noting that Christmas is sort of more of a couple holiday. It's a thing if you are young and dating, you have a Christmas date, or if you're a family, you just stay home and get KFC.
I had heard that, actually.
Yeah, it is a brilliant marketing move that went way too far, but it's not a religious holiday. Japan and its relationship with religion is very interesting. Most of the Shinto practices have kind of been civicified, I would say. Again, better people than me can explain this, but it's like, yeah, we have this Shinto ceremony every year, but it's mostly just an excuse to, watch fireworks. It's not really sacred in the same way.
Interesting fact, Scott.
Yeah.
If you Google Christmas in Japan, Google helpfully lets you know what day it'll be this year.
Oh, that's really handy.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you.
We appreciate you clarifying that for us.
Thank you, Gemini. You boiled how much ocean water to just let us know that. Yeah, we are introduced to two of our three protagonists at this Christmas pageant. It's a very charismatic sort of evangelical Christian thing, but mostly they're there to get free food because they are homeless. They are unhoused. Yes. They are sitting through a sermon to get to the line for soup, a time-honored tradition of people who don't have homes around the world.
Somebody who loves Jesus will give you a soup.
If you listen to them. Anyway, we have Gin and Hana who make their way back from this meeting after causing some fuss to where they hang out with Miyuki.
There is a callback too to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miyuki to their third companion, Miyuki, who stayed at wherever they hang out, their squat, their little encampment, because she cannot tolerate going to church. This will come up in a bit, but there's some bickering about what's going on, and they hear a baby in a dumpster baby.
Yep.
Before they hear the crying, Hana does slap Miyuki. We get Miyuki say that not even her father hit me, because no anime can escape that Gundam reference. No anime can escape that.
Oh, that's a Gundam reference?
Yes. Anytime someone gets slapped, it is, and they say not even their father hit them. And that's a Gundam reference.
I'll keep an eye out for that in the future.
Oh, once you know, you can't escape. So, these three find a baby in a dumpster. They agree that they have to take care of the baby for now.
Yes.
For now, at least. There is some debate as to whether or not they should dump it at the police station now or later. Because Hannah's very excited to have a baby.
Hannah's intensely maternal. She had expressed that desire in the soup line.
Yeah.
And now, this child has been gifted to them by fate.
It is definitely a fate thing. Hannah is trans. In the dub, they actually got a trans actress in for this. It's really great. I really appreciate it. Like, everyone on the dub does really good work. It's great. It's a dub from G Kids, which is the company that now is custodian of the international rights for Ghibli movies, and they do a good job of casting people more interestingly than we've gotten lately, mostly because Sony owns all the TV anime now, and they just dub it out of Texas with the same guys.
Very efficient, if not as artistic.
Yeah,
Did you know Crispin Freeman and Crispin Glover are different people?
Yes, they're different guys. I'm sure. Okay. I've met Crispin Freeman. He's very nice, but I don't know about Crispin Glover.
Well, he sued Bob Zemeckis for doing weird shit with his face in a movie. So I consider that a thumbs up.
I think at the time he was kind of looked down upon for doing it, but I think now, where face stealing becoming much more normal, I think Crispin Glover is a hero and a patriot. The good kind of patriot.
Yes. We have to qualify that.
The kind who protects his own face. Remember,
Stands up for the sanctity. Yeah.
Stand up for your face. We get the first version of Jin's backstory, where he explains that he was a pro cyclist who had to throw some sort of pro cycling event for gambling debt reasons. And that's why he lives on the street and is a drunk now. Hana and the kid just run off. They run off rather than just hand over the kid to the cops right away, because they find a coin locker, a key to a coin locker at a local train station. Inside that is some more stuff, just some more details, some clues. So now we are in now our homeless people are in mystery solving mode, because they feel that, okay, we have these details, we can figure out who dumped this baby and just hand it back to them and not involve the cops. Their first clue is that they have a matchbook from a hostess club across town.
Yes.
They get kicked off the subway because they're smelly. Not really kicked off. Not really. It's that
Did they get kicked off? I thought it was like Miyuki just dove out a window because she saw, or is that later?
So what happens is that the subway is delayed for weather, and everyone's yelling at them for being smelly and homeless. And they upon being rejected by the world, reject the world back louder in a dangerous way by jumping out a window. And we get them walking around trying to get to this hostess club across town. But they pause to visit a cemetery. Because you know what's at cemeteries? Offerings. so they can scare up some rice buns and some booze off of other people's graves.
Well, I mean, that just seems to be the best thing to do.
I mean, it's certainly a sustainable way to go about your life, and it means that the local crow population doesn't get too used to eating human food.
Yes.
Which is responsible in a different way, probably. This upsets the baby because it's cold out and the baby has not had, food in a while. So more bickering.
Mm-hmm.
They hit up a convenience store. They scare up some diapers, and
actually, don't they find the diapers and formula on top of a baby's tomb?
Oh yes, this is another thing. So this is a specific thing that Buddhist. Most funerals in Japan are Buddhist. Most weddings are Christian. It's just how they go. But one of the things that the guys that mine graveyards, the monks that mine graveyards do, well, if you have a miscarried child or an aborted child, they will low-key, part encourage, part extort you into leaving offerings that the baby would have needed had it survived. And that starts with formula and diapers, and then that turns into donations of your daughter would have been 6. She would need to pay her uniform fees.
Oh.
It's sometimes it's extortion, sometimes it's like, no, this is part of we're mentioning this to you if you're still grieving and you want to keep, taking care of your daughter in everyone grieves differently and people construct grief differently, and sometimes and I can't condemn anyone that gives a Buddhist $5 for a dead kid's backpack or uniform fees, but also sometimes it's a little predatory. Sometimes
I'm getting an uncomfortable feeling thinking about it.
It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, so they steal that and they try to get this going. Whereupon they find a Yakuza boss who's been run over by his own car. And he was trying to get it out of the snow, and it just fell on him. But they helped this guy.
Well, he didn't set his parking brake, and then a woman was chasing her dog and bumped into the car and set it rolling and did not notice him because she was chasing her dog, which means he obviously was not screaming for assistance at that moment while the car was backing over him.
Yeah.
He's not having a great day, is all I'm saying.
Well, it's also his daughter's wedding day, so he's only out for the last minute whatever. But because they roll the car off the guy, they are invited to the wedding out of sheer politeness. They don't get they don't get chairs at any of the tables, but they are allowed to sit. No. And Gin is allowed to just seize an entire bottle of brandy. I think it's Courvoisier. He's just happy as a clam. It turns out, and this is where the fate just starts to dial up now. We're getting the fate dial up because the club owner's new son and the mafia boss's son-in-law is the owner of the club they have the matchbook for, which means they know that this guy knows the woman who they think had this baby, who they're calling Kikyo, which is a reference to the song, the Japanese lyrics to Silent Night. It's fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
It's fun because this baby, not silent. Not silent at all.
Impure and not silent.
Content warning, children crying.
Except the son-in-law is also the loan shark that Gin had to deal with in the past. So he's very quickly trying to beat it. But before he can beat it, I assume a Filipino man tries to assassinate the Yakuza boss?
Yes. Coincidence.
He is. In the dub, he speaks Spanish. I think in the original Japanese, he also speaks Spanish, but just a different guy.
Yes, he does. He is subtitled as speaking Spanish.
Yeah. So he speaks Spanish. He is dressed as a woman. He is dressed as a waitress at this banquet. Miyuki and the kid get kidnapped.
Little Austin Powers that bit.
Yeah, just a little Austin Powers. I don't know why he had to dress as a woman. You infiltrating is part of catering. Time-honored tradition of all kinds of crime. I don't know why you couldn't have been a busboy or like one of the chefs. I don't know why. I'm not here to judge Spanish-speaking assassin man. If he wants to wear a dress, he can.
Yeah,
they can.
If that's just how he rolls, and
that he is allowed to live his truth and murder Yakuza bosses. We respect women's wrongs in this house. Gin just gives up. He runs away entirely. He falls into a trash can and meets another homeless guy, an older, sicker homeless guy.
Who's wearing the exact same clothes as Gin.
Yeah, he's wearing the exact same outfit. Like, he is seeing
it is
himself.
Very much a parallel to himself.
He is seeing himself in a few years, and they share a drink, and they talk about, the loneliness of being drunk and homeless. And then the old man just, he starts to die. He starts to die, and he tries to confide in Jin a pouch. We don't know what's in the pouch. It'll matter later. But before he can die alone, drunk and happy, some teens just to beat them up. Just bum hunting. Just bum hunting.
Jerks.
This is, I think, the first time we start to hear Beethoven's Ninth. And the key to an excellent Christmas movie is that you start using Beethoven's Ninth as leitmotif. Very few Christmas movies do that, because Beethoven's Ninth, very secular.
At least two of the best.
Two of the best. Beethoven's Ninth is secular in its origin. It's very humanist. The poetry is very humanist. And the original lyrics. We'll get to the new lyrics they add later. Meanwhile, as Gin and this old guy are being beaten to death by teenagers, Miyuki and the baby are hanging out with another woman who only speaks Spanish, and they try to connect across language barriers. There's a scene of nursing, which is, again, our first nudity warning.
They bond nicely. I mean, you can tell.
It's sweet. It's sweet. They get each other. Miyuki has a weird extended dream about her backstory, where her dad is kind of mean, her mom is overtly religious and not getting it, not really helping. It's getting in the way of it. And Miyuki has a cat named Angel. The cat has run away. They fight over the cat running away. And then as the dream goes on, all the personages are replaced with Gin and Hana and the baby instead. This is as surreal as it gets here, and it's explicitly a dream. You compare that to other Satoshi Kon work, your Perfect Blues, your Paprikas. This is really straightforward. This is understandable. It's like, okay, I am transferring my past feelings to my current feelings. Totally makes sense. All the people are the same. No one turns into a swan or gets locked upside down or whatever. No. Again, we should do more Kon movies. But yeah.
Oh, 100%.
100%. But yeah, no, this is really, really normal, really legible compared to, again, Millennium Actress or Perfect Blue.
Straightforward. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, makes sense. So, Hana, meanwhile...
Satoshi Kon knows writers who use subtext. That they're all cowards.
Yeah. Hana has gone back to... So, Hana and Miyuki find the dead guy because they think that's Gin.
Yes.
They're like, they hear about a homeless drunk being beaten to death, and it's like, shit, that's gotta be Gin. And they're like, oh no! It's just a guy wearing his shoes.
Yeah. Well, it's Gin, but not yet. So,
meanwhile, Gin, not near the site, he's just been punched up a bit. He meets an angel. A woman dressed as an angel, probably from the Christmas pageant. But he has been punched a bit.
He seems a little bit delirious from the abuse he's received, which is understandable.
They eventually but again, Hana is like, okay. But Gin gets taken to a cabaret that is hosted entirely by trans people, older trans people. This is a normal kind of entertainment in Japan. It's not quite drag. It's not full theatrical. It's just a thing. You go to the karaoke club and there's just a middle-aged trans person doing their thing. That's how it works.
Yes, where the angel has taken him.
Yeah, the angel takes him to hang out at the club, and Hana goes to the club. It turns out it's where she used to work. She's just looking to check in. Everyone meets up. We find out Hana's backstory, where she just punched a guy for being transphobic. Weird of a guy to go to the drag bar if you're transphobic. That's where you get punched.
She did not punch him.
Yeah.
She gave a full roundhouse kick to this guy.
Yeah.
In those shoes.
Those shoes. Sacrifice the shoes to beat up a guy. But they regroup.
Had it coming, got it.
They regroup. Hana mends fences with the club owner. She can come back if she wants. But everyone regroups. We get the montage of them trying to walk to where they think Kikyo's parents are.
I can't tell if I missed something. Did they meet Hana's mother?
No, well, it's her mother. It's like her. It's her house mom. You know, it's
okay.
Like, it's she runs the club. She's the mom. That's it.
Okay. Oh, I didn't recognize her out of her hat. Then that was
that's it.
And they do have a discussion about how Hana ended up in her current state. And she mentions that her lover Ken has passed away. Her friend says, "What's it, AIDS?" And he says, "No, he slipped and died in the bathtub." And then Hana found herself just, I don't know if it was a grief or what, but she then found herself in her current situation, unhoused in Tokyo.
No, it's hard. It's hard to get a new apartment if your ID doesn't match. But they figure out where the house where Kikyo's house is supposed to be based on some photos and some street addresses, and that house has been bulldozed.
It has been wrecked?
Just wrecked. It's going to be condos next week, right? we do a bit of we talk to the neighbors, we piece together what they think are Kikyo's parents' backstory, which rough relationship, rocky stuff.
It's exposition by a gossip chorus, is how I refer to it. And
yeah,
it was
the gossip chorus exposition, and we go to next location. Miki tries to call her dad. She chickens out.
She seems to have found a personal ad from her dad saying that Angel had come home.
Yeah. So yeah, she has heard her dad is posting personal ads in the news to say that the cat's back. You should come back. We can work this out. She chickens out. Her dad, voiced by Crispin Freeman, nice guy. Oh, this is where the fight in the convenience store happens over who.
Okay.
I was mistaken. This is the fight over who's allowed to stay in the convenience store, how long, and then they get run over by an ambulance.
They're accosted by a drunken salaryman, from what I can see. And the fight, which moves out of the sidewalk, does save their lives.
Yes. As they get run over by an ambulance, and when they get taken to a hospital, the nurse is Gin's daughter.
Of course.
Because this is... It's a farce. It's a comedy of missed connections and reconnections, and it's fun. And, Gin is able to reconnect with his daughter. We find out that he was lying about part of his backstory. He just owned a bike shop. He was not a pro cyclist. Hana gets into a fight with everyone. There's some high drama. We get a sequence where Miyuki dreams as Hana and Gin as the red Oni and the blue Oni from the fairy tales. And we also hear the lotto numbers.
And Hana makes the sacrifice to try and get Gin back with his daughter, and it's very sweet.
We also hear the lotto numbers. This will matter in a bit. We also find out that there's... Yes, like exposition television has given us a very conspicuous set of lotto numbers and mentioned the lost baby. A lost baby on TV. That it's been 3 days. And it's like, oh yeah, this just in, stolen baby. And I'm like, Amber Alerts, you can complain about them on your phone now, but like, Would you rather wake up at 4 a.m. for an Amber Alert or just wait 3 days for the lost baby alert on TV?
While the KFC is cooling in the fridge.
Well, you've got like the green coleslaw that comes with the family deal that you really don't. It just comes with it. You're stuck with the green goo after you've eaten all the other KFC.
I will take the green goo bullet. By the way, if that situation ever arises, plop that on my plate. Come fix me a plate with some of the green goo.
It's not that bad, but it's kind of bad.
I mean, it's the weakest thing in the bag, but still, there's a tang, there's a crunch.
But now
anyway,
now that the lost baby's been on TV, everyone's like, all right, well, we can be done. We can be done now. We'll just turn the baby over to the police. But Gin finds a hoarder house. He finds where presumably Kikyo's dad is living. And it turns out that no, actually, his ex and him, she lost the baby, and she freaked out and stole the whole baby. Meanwhile, Miyuki has found Sayako, who is still not right in the head. Not great in the head.
No.
And they try to hand her the baby, and things go wrong. Things go very wrong, and things escalate. We have
heavily.
Yeah. Not Sayuki, Sachiko. Anyway, things escalate. There's a series of chase sequences on New Year's Eve as Sayuki tries to jump off a building with a baby.
Now, is it New Year's Eve or is it Boxing Day?
New Year's Eve.
Mentioned okay.
It's New Year's Eve at this point, yeah.
So it's been a week, really, not.
Yeah, it's
not 3 days.
Like we see a couple of sunrise cycles in this whole thing. This is also important because like New Year's Day is like a family holiday as opposed to a couple holiday. That's why it all kind of makes sense to sync it all up. There's a rooftop. There's chases up the rooftop. There's car chases. There's the cabbie who they can't get rid of.
Who can't get rid of them?
Yes, this poor cabbie who keeps running to the same homeless people who can't pay him, and then they keep stealing him anyway. We get our deadbeat husband's like, no, I won second place at the lotto. We can figure out my debts. You don't have to die with the baby. And then she jumps anyway. And Hana's like, nah, we're going to do the save. We're going to do the big sacrifice play and do ride down a banner. And everyone basically lands.
Perfect superhero landing on the ledge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 2 days worth of snowfall has things to say about that.
Yeah. No. They do the banner grab, but everyone has fallen 6 stories, even a little bit, and it ain't great.
What a gust of wind!
Got divine wind. The divine wind.
Yeah.
It's about coincidence and family and togetherness, and everyone wakes up.
Is there a term for that, Scott? Divine wind? Do they have a term for that?
I think there is. I think there's a term for that. I think that's a key word. I think a better podcast could explain it to you. We wake up in the hospital and it's New Year's Day and everyone is bandaged up very much. And
there have been better days.
The baby is back with her birth parents. They want to see this cadre of homeless guys who are like, no, we're going to make them her godfather. And the bickering resumes because Hana's been put in the men's ward. I mean, they're not going to know. They're not. Like,
I'm not sure.
I
don't think that got discussed in the Japanese
okay, this is in the dub they Hana throws a fit about like, I'm in the men's section, aren't I, you bastards?
Or I may have missed that, but the team is the family, as I think you can refer to it. They are together, back in order, arguing with each other. We see that the dead guy's pouch full of lotto tickets, including the first prize one. So these guys are set for a while, probably able to reconnect. Miyuki's dad is the police inspector who's been covering this case. Bumps into them, and everything might be looking up. And we cut to the credits to what I can only describe as reggae Beethoven's Ninth, but the lyrics are about how everyone is scum and we're all joined by being scum. It's a really cynical, goofy set of lyrics. Now, is that the dub version, or is that from the original version? And
in the Japanese, the lyrics have been rewritten, and they are irreverent and silly.
I did not get to see the lyrics. I only heard.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a jaunty
They don't translate them in the G Kids release I saw either. I looked it up. It's like, no, these words seem not to match. I'm not hearing uplifting words in the Japanese. And no, this movie's fun. This movie it's a great Christmas movie. I'm not a big Christmas guy. I'm bitter and cynical, but I like that this just
I'm Christmas enough to make up for you.
Yeah, I know.
And I adored it.
No,
This was jolly. You've gotten my season off to an early start, Scott. Thank you very much. Better go get the decorations from downstairs.
I know for a fact you start.
Better go get my Santa hat.
You start the Mariah Carey on the first. I know you.
I mean, guilty.
For the record,
have you been reading my Spotify record, Scott?
No. I should also mention for the benefit of the listener, I think Justin's Egyptian Orthodox, which means he celebrates Christmas on the 6th. He is a freak that celebrates Christmas for 9 weeks.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. And this is a delightful...
Coptic Orthodox people are not freaks. Justin is. Just Justin.
Yeah. I celebrate 2 Advents. Oh, my wife got me the Godzilla Advent calendar.
What goes in a Godzilla Advent calendar?
I am going to end up with 24 very tiny Godzilla and kaiju of various kind figures over the course of the month of December.
They have little hats?
I think they're just traditional. I don't think there's any specialty holiday-themed Godzilla. Although, to be deadly honest, I have friends with 3D printers, or I just know people who can build things with clay. I should be just slapping Santa hats on every Godzilla figure in my house.
Little green stuff, little paint, yeah. Santa hat.
Ho, 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 baby!
Anyway, no, this movie's delightful. It's really charming. I think a lot of holiday media is very saccharine, excessively saccharine, I think. But this hits sort of an interesting sort of earnestness. And it's still dark. A guy does get beaten to death by teens for no real reason. That happens.
I mean... You've got the 3 main characters who have nowhere to live. Like there, they have found themselves on, they
live
detached from society.
They live in a bunch of boxes and a tarp in a park in Tokyo, and it's implied they aren't even friends with the other homeless guys who also live in boxes with tarps in a park.
Yeah, so they have the longing for family. They have the longing for connection. And they have that with each other. And then they find this infant. And one of the most universal human impulses is to protect a baby. I hope for most people, your first reaction when you hear a baby crying is not, would someone shut that infant up? It is that infant okay? For at least a second before you go, will someone shut that infant up? Because really, they're with someone who should be taking care of them. But, finding an abandoned child in a dumpster, especially where Hannah had just said, oh, I would really like to have a baby sometime. Later on, they encounter the soup counter lady who says it's a miracle.
I think it's, again, there's a lot of really great just background art, and you get the vibe of Tokyo as a character. They move between different neighborhoods, and you see that reflected in how they move. I think one of the things I meant to mention is that in Miyuki's flashback, you see just how much weight she used to have. They designed her character twice, which you can do at a theatrical budget, but you might not do in something short, where it's like, no, she was a heavier person, and we see the weight of living rough in a lot of ways. It's not shy about hard subjects.
Which you can miss, because for most of the film, she's got the traditional layered outfit.
Yeah, she's like wearing 5 jackets and 2 hats. I love her hats. They're great hats.
Yes, the little dongle side one, and then you got the wide brim.
Yeah.
She's covered. But when you see her in the hospital at the end, she is obviously had the effects of eating what you can find in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And they're very, you see like a lot of them finding things and scavenging and recovering. And this is what is required for survival in that.
And one of the ways you can make a character sympathetic, there's like a bunch of ways to do it. And one of the ways you can do it is you can make them really inventive and adaptable, and we can see them like succeeding in this scrounging. And it's like, yeah, no, these people are desperate, but we establish that they're clever just in how they get along. And God, all the facial animation is so expressive in this. Like, never has a screaming baby looked more like a screaming baby. Like, any still of this is like, no, that's exactly what a baby looks like. They're not idealistic about the baby. The baby is what brings everyone together, and it's what makes them better people. But it's still like a real baby. It's like annoying and makes noise. And they have to figure this out.
No, it is absolutely delightful. Rest in peace, Satoshi Kon. Thank you for this wonderful story you've given us. Amusing thing that happened on my own part several years ago. Before the website formerly known as Twitter hit the skids, film director Lexi Alexander, who you may know for a variety of, well, you probably know her for Punisher Warzone.
Yeah, that's the big one.
You know, many TV episodes and things. And she's got a martial arts film on Netflix that I don't think ever got released, which I'm going to have to figure out what happened there. Anyway, she released a list of Christmas movies, her 10 favorite Christmas movies, and Tokyo Godfathers is one of them, along with several other very enjoyable films, which I have archived on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
And yes, it is so good.
All right, so that martial arts movie should be coming out soon. Actually, it's just sort of holed up in post production by the looks of things. But no, I want to thank you for listening to this episode. Leave a review, tell a friend, do the Ko-fi thing, or do the thing where you buy a series of boxes of imported snacks. Imported snacks are wonderful. If you do not have access to foreign candies, this is a way to gain access and be excited and delighted by what other people will put in a convenience store for a couple bucks. Anyway,
it's not just random imported candies. These are curated. Thank you.
Again, we will be back with a regular release not too far from now. But until then, see ya.
Happy holidays.